Hello, everyone, and welcome back to New Cats on the Block. Finally back now after our humongous win over the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who were ranked at the time. We're riding a little bit of a high. Now, we got to go on the road and take that high on the road and take on the Hoosiers today. Now, the Hoosiers are 500 like we are. They're actually a little bit further back in the national rankings than we are, but I would still go as far as to say they're the better team here in this matchup. Only a little bit, but we're reaching that part of our schedule where our conference opponents are kind of all in that fringe of like average to bad. And I think statistically, like our roster, our overalls and stuff, we fall at the bottom of that list. But we still have a good chance to beat pretty much any team in our conference, like the Indianas, the Illinois, the Penn States at this time. So we have a chance here to, I guess, still make it to that elusive 6-win number. But since there aren't as many bowls back then or during this time as there are nowadays, it's not just about winning 6 games. We have to finish pretty well in our conference and have a solid conference record, because all the bowl tie-ins are, second in Big Ten versus second ACC and stuff like that. So we have to do pretty well in our conference if we even want to hit a bowl game, not just win 6 games. But we do have a pretty good chance here with Indiana because this, in real life, is a pretty poor stretch for them. All through the late 90s up to probably the late 2000s and so on, even to the present day, Indiana would just go through coach after coach, trying to find one that worked, and none of them really did. During this season, they're in their second year with a coach who would go 2-10 this season. His name was Gary DiNardo, and he would only win about 8 games in his 3 years with Indiana. So, with that being said, this is still a video game. Their numbers are still better than ours. Their team is probably still better than ours. So, it's not necessarily an easy game for us. But Indiana is moving backwards, taking a bad delay of game penalty, or false start rather. So it's rare to get those in this game, but I'll happily take them as we can get them. So big 3rd and 10 out for Indiana if they want to keep their drive going there around midfield. Let's see what Indiana can do to keep things going for them early on. Quarterback's going to drop back now. He's going to look over. He's going to scan. There's no pressure. And he has his man. His man has a step there over our defenders, but the ball is not on the mark. It's not where it needs to be. So our defense comes up big, and we're going to get our first shot with the ball so far this game as we throw the one up to number 9, who's got it. And he's brought down by about the 40-yard line. Need to move fast and move quick, and we need to minimize the mistakes. We did great versus Minnesota, but we need to keep that going if we want to win. We could have beat Ohio State too, but those mistakes and poor play. As we find number 9 again, who bounces off a tackle, and it gets into open field for a huge gain, really extends that. The yards after the catch, now that is what's important as we are brought down deep in Indiana territory. We're moving again. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it as we hit number 9 again. And now we are inside the red zone. Just a few plays. This is that efficient football that we need to be playing, guys. 1st and 10 now. We're in the shotgun formation. We're going to drop back. The coverage is good up front. And we find our running back out of the backfield who makes the catch towards the first down marker. And we are very close there. We are knocking on the goal line already. What can Indiana's defense do to silence us? 2nd and 1, we're going to go in the I formation, give it to the running back again, who's got some wiggle room, and he follows his blocks and gets brought down in the end zone for 6. A very nice early touchdown by this Wildcat offense. We were moving quick and efficiently. I want to see that all season long. I feel like we really haven't. But we normally explode pretty early on in these games, and things just kind of fall apart towards the end. But we send the kick through, and it is good. In case you didn't notice, maybe you saw it on the kicking meter, but we are playing in gale force winds. It is a hurricane here in Indiana. But I think we got pretty lucky here with the coin toss. We picked the right side. Normally I just randomize it and roll with it, but there you see we got a pretty terrible kick, and thanks to the wind it was even worse. So it's going to play a factor a little bit later in the game or just throughout the game, so pay attention to that, but I just want to make note of it. As their quarterback drops back and drops that one into a massive play, or just a whole web of nonsense. There were about 3 Wildcats and 2 Hoosiers over there, and the Hoosier came down with it. So on the next play, the quarterback's going to drop back and float that one out to the tight end, who looks to be in bounds. It looked like he had it. Made a great catch there, but they're not going to give it to him. So it's a 2nd and 10 now for the Hoosiers, and they're going to go delayed handoff to the running back, and we have that one completely covered up as he is brought down in the backfield. He can't make it back to the line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 12 now for the Hoosiers, dropping back in shotgun formation. They got a man going in motion, but we have a man glitching through the line of scrimmage. This happened, bro, twice, I think, in a session. I had it happen in a Cardinals video, and now it's happened in a Northwestern video. I don't know what this is. So that's going to give the Hoosiers at least a handful back, so it's a little bit more manageable of a 3rd down. So let's see how the game plan switches as they send the fullback in motion this time, right around midfield. They have this ball now. So 3rd and 7, what can the Hoosiers do to keep the drive alive? They go to late handoff again, and the running back gets just enough and gets tripped past the marker. So it's going to be a 1st down for the Hoosiers. And they're going to keep their drive going, following that very bizarre catch, which looked very much in, but I must have missed it there. It was 1st and 10 for the Hoosiers, and he has his man open going across the field, but the ball is not on the mark again. Maybe we can blame the wind all game. That should be fair. With just 8 seconds left to go in the 1st quarter, potentially the last play of the quarter, the Hoosiers are going to drop back now, look over his options all day to throw, and he throws a terrible, terrible pass into another web of Northwestern players. So lucky for him that one is not intercepted, but it probably should have been. So 1 second left. They can run one more play, 3rd and 10. What can the Hoosiers do? He's going to flip it out to his receiver on the left side, who does have it and cuts up field, but number 28 makes the play before he can get to the 1st down marker. So that'll bring the 1st quarter to a close. Our 7-0 lead holds strong. Our early touchdown is the difference maker so far. But on 4th and 2, Indiana's going to keep the offense on the field now. They are in our territory, so why not? Quarterback's going to drop back, and the pressure is on, but he finds his receiver, who's up along the sideline. He can break a tackle, and he does, and he finds the end zone. Man, we tried to send the kitchen sink. I figured if we could send enough people in the box, someone could make a play on a receiver, but no, as he makes a great play. But there's the wind playing a factor again. I don't know how you could have kicked it that poorly. It's a chip shot, but that ball sails wide right. So we still hold a lead now, a 1-point lead over the Hoosiers, thanks to the hurricane force winds that we're playing in here in Indiana. So hopefully we can extend onto our 1-point lead as our quarterback drops back, and he waits too long as the pressure gets to him. That man flew off the edge and found his way. We were just sitting there waiting for something to come out, and nothing did. Look at us just spend all day, all day. And looks like I may have made a decision as he started to wind back, but it's far too late. So 2nd and 21 now. We got to get some of this back here. We float this one out and find number 80, and we get it all back, and then some. And hold on, someone's grabbing a little bit too much of the helmet, so give us another 5. So a huge mistake on our part, sitting way back in the pocket all day, losing 11 yards. We get all that back and then some, and a penalty in our favor to get us a 1st down. But then we are making the mistakes that I said we could not make. That linebacker sitting right behind the line, I guess I just didn't see him. He makes an athletic catch and rips that one out of the air. So Indiana's got this one going back the other way after we get bailed out on our sack. And they're going to go with a handoff to the fullback, who tries to hurdle, and he gets caught up at the line of scrimmage and gets tripped down, only getting a couple. So tough interception for us early on. We can't have too many of those, but I can't guarantee that at this point. I don't know what it is. I have an obsession with throwing interceptions, I guess, so far with this quarterback. So Indiana's going to go with another handoff, and this time there's a little bit more room, but he still gets brought down short of the marker. So Indiana's going to be facing another 3rd down, 3rd and short situation. They come out in the offset eye, send a man in motion, just a few seconds to snap, and they give it to the fullback, and we make a huge play at the line and bring him down short. Another big play here for our Wildcat defense. But the Indiana's going to keep the offense on the field in a 4th and short situation. Can they get it? And we make a big play on the running back, and he is short. They're going to call him short. If I was Indiana, I'd be a little bit more pissed because these calls are very close and they're not going their way. But we do have the ball going the other way, and I will take that, and we will run as many plays as we can. Try to extend here onto our 1-point lead. But we're going to cut to a 3rd and 10 here. We're struggling to move the ball. We're going to drop back now and look over our options. Throw it across the middle, and we had number 4 open, but the ball was not where it needed to be. We were off the mark. And so we're going to have to send out the punt unit here and try and use the wind in our favor to send this ball a little bit further down. And we get an absolute monster of a punt thanks to these 20-mile-per-hour winds. And the punt is muffed, but he does pick the ball up and makes a fancy spin move and extends about another 10 yards or so to give Indiana a little bit better placement here on the field after a bizarre muffing of that punt return. So the quarterback's going to drop back now, and he's got a few options, but he throws it to the wrong one as one of our linebackers makes a great play on the ball there and knocks it out of the way. That should bring up a 2nd and 10 now for the Hoosiers now. They go with a single back. And the quarterback's going to drop back. The pressure's not really there, and that time they find the receiver on the left side of the field. Again, we had a couple Wildcats in position to make a play, and neither of them did. So that'll be another 1st down for the Hoosier offense. They come out with 3 guys in the backfield behind the quarterback, and but the quarterback's going to keep it and get brought down near the logo there. And so timeouts will now be getting called as we fall under 2 minutes here in the first half. So 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard quarterback keeper. It's a high snap for the quarterback, but he still has it. And he whips it towards the middle of the field, and our linebacker is there to make another good play on the ball. So 3rd and 9 for the Hoosier offense. What can they do here? They still have a long way to travel with plenty of time. And the quarterback's going to flub that out to number 19 again, who's a bit on an island there. Again, we had Wildcats in that direction, but neither of them were there to make a play on the ball. So 1st and 10 now for the Hoosiers. They're trying to move fast here and get some points. He finds number 19 again, who gets brought down near the 20-yard line, and more timeouts are getting blown. It'll be a 2nd and short situation for the Hoosiers to try and convert here. They have a minute and a half, just a little under, to try and get some points here and erase this 1-point deficit, as they're going to go with the fullback on the ground, who gets a generous tackle animation to get brought forward towards the 15-yard line, which will get him a little bit closer to the 1st down marker. But they are still short as the clock will continue to run. So 3rd and 2, they're going to give it to the running back, and he's got all the space, wide open lane, and he gets brought down near the goal line. But hold on, someone's grabbing a little bit too much of the jersey. It's their center, to be exact. So erase that play and throw him 10 yards back. Big mistake for the Hoosier offense here, as they are desperate to get some points. So 40 seconds left. What can they do? The quarterback's going to move out of the pocket, and he finds the receiver, number 9, who gets brought down inside the 20, it looks. But that's going to bring a 4th and 1 for the Hoosiers. And so we're going to let the clock run and see if we can just stop them on this last play here on 4th down. And head into the locker room holding on to a 1-point lead as he pitch after the running back. And he's got all the blocks and all the room, and he follows him, and he finds the end zone. A massive breakdown for our defense here in the last 10 seconds of the half. That clock was really just taken. They just ran a play just to run it. I don't think they expected to go anywhere. But, yeah, I mean, the seas parted for that running back, and he found his way to pay dirt. So right before the half, the extra point goes wild yet again. This is what I was saying when I think we picked the right side here when it came to defending. As Indiana now gets bit on the win twice in the first half and leaves 2 points on the board. So just before the half ends, we're going to just only be staring down a 5-point deficit, as it is 7-12. But that huge touchdown at the end of the half is going to swing the momentum towards the Hoosiers, unfortunately. And just looking at the first half stats, they're in complete control of this game. We need to do a little bit better on offense. We had an amazing first drive and haven't really repeated it since then. So we get a nice return here to at least start us off in the second half coming out of the locker room. So what can we do here? 1st and 10, we're going to drop back with a single back, and we're going to throw it to number 9, who has it in and out of his hands, and he can't hold on to it on his way down to the ground. So that one's a drop, a straight-up drop. So 2nd and 10 now for the Wildcats. We're going to go in shotgun formation here, and we're going to see if we can find the running back, and he gets tangled up with one of our receivers, and that ball just flies safely into the dirt. Thankfully, it wasn't picked off. So 3rd and 10 already coming straight out of the half now. We got to get something. And we have it. We hit our man right into the hands. Number 80 has this ball hit him right in the hands. We put it right on the numbers, and he can't come down with it. So Indiana will get the ball following our 3 and out coming out of the half. As they're going to give it to the fullback here, who breaks a nice tackle, but gets brought down at the 45-yard line. Solid play there to save a potential bigger gain from that big fullback. He's got all the strength. And they go with a direct snap to the running back here, and it looks like there was a little bit of room, but that play falls apart pretty quick. And Indiana won't move the ball any further off of that. So 3rd and 9 already for the Hoosiers. What can they do? Groke's going to drop back, and he has his man there running across the marker, but the ball is off the mark yet again. So Indiana will punt this one away to us, and we have our man back. And he's got some coverage up front, cuts upfield, makes a beautiful spin move, throws about 3 or 4 Hoosiers out of their shoes, and breaks another nice tackle before getting a generous tackle animation to bring us even further. So another great return here by our special teams, gives us some great field position as we try and go with the run game here for probably the 3rd or 4th time today. So 2nd and 8 now for the Wildcats. Now we're getting closer and closer to midfield. Got to get something going here. And we throw a dangerous pass here. That linebacker who made the first pick earlier in the game was in position to do something again, but we miss his hand by inches and find number 2, who gives us a huge gain into Indiana territory. So 1st and 10 for the Wildcat offense again. We're going to flip that one out to number 2 again, who cuts upfield for another first down. And that is our dynamic duo, number 14 and number 2, and it hasn't really been effective so far this game, but we're finally starting to wake that one up. So another 1st and 10 here for the Wildcats. We're going to drop all the way back, and I don't know what that was. I don't know what I saw. Maybe I thought I could force it into the window. Like our quarterback had the arm strength for that or the accuracy. Just a dumb decision. So on the first drive in a while, we're actually moving the ball. A huge mistake by yours truly. Gives the ball back to the Hoosiers heading the other way, deep in their own territory. As they float that out to the tight end towards the left side, who makes the catch and gets brought down short of the marker. So 2nd and short now, or 2nd and 6 rather, in the offside eye for the Hoosiers. They're going to drop back now by their own 20-yard line, and they find their tight end, number 87, all alone in the middle of the field. We had guys playing some real soft coverage there, and good job by the quarterback to find his open man. So on the next play, the quarterback's going to keep it again. He's got a little bit of room, but he's got 0 speed. I don't know why they keep trying to go with the quarterback here. He's really got nothing to do here. He's got a great stash, though, so I respect that. 2nd and short for the Hoosier offense now. And they're going to go with a handoff to the running back, who almost had some room, but he gets gobbled up at the line of scrimmage, and he's brought down short. So the defense comes up pretty big again to make a nice stop. So 3rd and 2. Can Indiana convert as the pressure gets to him, and he finds a quarterback, and he's got some room. Can he catch up? Number 20 tries to make a play, and he gets stiff-armed, and there's no one else in front. 5, 10, done. Touchdown. Another huge breakdown by our defense. We send everyone again on 3rd and short. I expected the run. We get to the quarterback, but he somehow gets rid of the ball. I mean, you could see how wobbly that pass is. It barely gets off to number 9, and he's got the perfect coverage there. Number 20 was the only guy back we had. He gets stiff-armed, 20, 15, 10, 5, goal line, touchdown. So number 9 makes 2 spectacular plays for the Hoosier offense as they extend their lead again, and that time they're kicking with the wind, so they convert that extra point. I figure they'd start going for 2 at some point here, trying to get some of their points back, but I guess the Indiana's not worried as they extend their lead here, and it is now 19-7. We got to figure something out on offense, Wildcats. What can we do? As we redirect on the handoff here, or on the kickoff rather, and get another solid return. The wind is going to give us pretty solid field position for most of the game, so we got to take advantage of that, and we haven't all game. So 1st and 10, now we're going to drop back and float that one out. We had number 9 in a window, and he nearly tipped that one into the hands of a Hoosier defender. But we got to minimize these drops, man. Come on, got to get bailed out here. The pressure comes now, but we float the one out to the running back, but somehow number 9 comes down with it. We had 2 guys in the same direction, and thankfully one of ours came down with it. So we will take that as that is another first down for the Wildcats. We're going to roll all the way out of the pocket and just desperately try and force that one somewhere. Probably should just threw that one away. There was no one there, but thankfully one's not picked off. But it is 3rd and 10 now from midfield for the Wildcats. What can we do? And we float that one over the linebacker's head again and find number 80, who gets us a first down. Another solid bailout by number 80, helping us extend this drive now as that's going to bring the third quarter to a close. So we're going to need to do quite a bit of digging here in the fourth quarter if we want a chance to even get back into this game, as we find ourselves down by quite a bit. A 12-point margin is pretty insurmountable for our offense so far this game, as we get a huge gain to number 9. Floated that one out. The pressure was on. We were running for our lives. Made an awkward throw, and that somehow got to our receiver, thank goodness. So we not only have a first down, but we have a first and goal. What can we do? We're going to try and roll out here and float the one to the tight end, and the defender tried to make a play on the ball. We narrowly missed his hand, but we got it. So in a couple plays here, we come right out of the intermission into the fourth quarter, and we get ourselves a touchdown that we desperately need. So the deficit goes back to just 5 points. And thanks to the win for keeping my kicks in bounds. This is probably the only game where I'm really getting helped like that, as the return man spins out of bounds. So Indiana's got about 5.5 minutes to potentially ice this game and add some points. So what can they do? We need a big stop here on defense if we want a chance of getting back in this game. They're going to go with a handoff to the fullback, who's got very little to no room. And we may see Indiana just try and run some clock here, as they're going to come out into shotgun formation and hand it off to the running back again. But this time he's got a lot more room. And he gets brought down close to the marker, but he is short. So a 3rd and 1 situation for the Hoosiers. Can they keep their drive alive and potentially burn some more clock off as they give it to the running back? And we are all over that. Nothing but Wildcats in the backfield. And we bring down that running back a few yards short of where he needed to be. So big 3rd down play for our defense as we get the ball back in great field position. We're already in Indiana territory, and then we do that. Man, oh man, that was it right there. We could have potentially just completely taken control of this game, but on one play we get this one right back to the Hoosiers. So they have a prime opportunity to ice this game yet again, as Indiana nearly throws a pick. And we've had about 3 or 4 plays so far this game where we've had dudes in position, like a few guys in position, and none of them can seem to come down with it. So they're going to go with another handoff here, and we are in the backfield yet again. We know they're trying to run. We know they're trying to burn some clock here, so they're not going to catch us lacking on that. So 3rd and 11 now, just over 3 minutes taken away. Indiana's trying to burn as much time as they can. The quarterback's going to drop back and look over his options. And he had a man over there, but we had 2 men over there to make sure that one didn't get where it had to go. Big play by number 20, who got stiff-armed on the touchdown by number 9 earlier. So we're going to get the ball back here and potentially do our 3-minute drill to try and eat up as much clock as possible and add a touchdown to potentially take the lead here and leave Indiana with very few options. So we're going to float this one out to number 9, who's in one-on-one coverage there, and he makes the play, thank goodness, with all the drops he's had today. 132 yards in the game, but that is a solid MVP performance for our offense. So we're going to go to 3rd and 10 now. We are desperate. We got to have it, and we get sacked. We are eating grass again. That left end gets us for the 2nd time today. I don't know what our guy's doing on that side of the line of scrimmage, but he's not helping. So 4th and 21, we have to keep the offense out there. We need it all, and we don't get it. So that ball sails into the grass. No one comes down with it. And Indiana's going to have prime field position to potentially just run it out. They're going to go with the fullback now, who gets brought down, and we're going to have to start burning our timeouts if we want a chance to maybe get the ball back and try something else here. But our mistakes here, our poor offensive play, has just put us in a really bad spot now as I go with another handoff and get brought down right on the midfield logo. A 3rd and 6 for the Hoosiers. We got to make one big stop here, and we can get the ball back with only about 15 to 20 seconds burned off of this clock. And they're going to go with a handoff to the running back, who tries to redirect. He might have had it if he just went straight, but he tries to redirect to the right side and gets brought down short. So we blow our final timeout, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 2 for the Hoosiers. We have to punt this one away, and we still have the better half of 2 minutes to try and do something. And the wind blows that punt out of bounds. We can't do much with it. So we are essentially at our own 20, and we got the whole length of the field, and another sack. The linebacker at the INT today rushes up the middle, and he finds his way to our quarterback. So we are even further back trying to do this, and we almost throw another interception. what is happening? We are falling apart, Wildcats. Come on, 3rd and 21. We got to have it all. We are in desperation mode. We've been in desperation mode, and there we get something. A bailout, another bailout by number 80, and another face mask. Give us more yardage, please. Another 5 yards. So in a super, super tight window, we somehow find it. A 25-yard catch, at least, gets us where we need to be and keeps our drive alive with just a minute left. The clock is ticking. We have no timeouts. We find number 2 across the middle, but he drops it. The drops, the case of the drops, we have them. We've been infected with the drops. In our travel from Evanston down here to Indiana, we've caught a case of the drops. So we're not getting much help from our receivers. As that time, we find number 4, and he's breaking off some tackles, and he fumbles on the way to the end zone, and number 80 picks it up and advances it into the end zone for a touchdown. Oh, my goodness. So we find number 4. We had a defender come and make a play. He misses it again by inches, and we had men in pursuit. He shakes off one, and on the tackle, fumbles on the way down, and number 80 is the only man there to make a play on the ball, and he brings it into the end zone and gives us a massive bailout. So we have to go for 2 to extend this one to 3, and we get it. We find number 7 in the end zone on the rollout, and we've extended our lead now to 3. So Indiana's got to go the full length of the field if they want to take a touchdown and win the game. So we can afford to give up a field goal. But they have 40 seconds now. It's a lot of time to work. We get a nice kick here down at the 20. So we gotta silence Indiana, and we're not doing it like that. One play is all it takes, and Indiana's already deep in our territory with a huge gain to number 19. So 1st and 10, 35 seconds. Indiana's in great position here to do something. The pressure's not really on there, and they find the fullback out of the backfield. And number 20 tries to make the play, but he misses it. And so another first down. 2 plays, 2 first downs. Indiana's about 5 yards from the red zone. They have 30 seconds to operate. And boom, our safety there, number 8, makes it a great play on the ball. Should have made the athletic interception if I'm being honest. But 2nd and 10 for Indiana. They got 25 seconds. What can they do? Quarterback's going to drop back, look over his options, and he floats that one out and finds 19 again for a touchdown. Oh, you got to be kidding me. It's Heartbreak City here playing the Hoosiers. They had 41 seconds just to get a field goal, potentially send this one to overtime, and in 3 or 4 plays, they get the touchdown they need. But they miss the extra point again for the 3rd time today. So their lead stays at 3, and we have a chance now. With 20 seconds, we can still get the ball into Indiana territory and potentially kick a field goal. I mean, we got to get pretty close. Our kicker has 0 power, so we'd have to get down to within Indiana's red zone if we want a chance. But we're just going to send out a Hail Mary unit here and take a couple heaves towards the end zone. That one is way, way overthrown. I'm surprised our quarterback has that much arm strength, but he does, believe it or not. So with 10 seconds left, we're going to try it again. And that was nearly intercepted as we overthrow number 9 again. The arm strength is there, but the accuracy is not. So on our last play, potentially the game, what can we do? We float it out again, and we find number 9 this time, who catches it in a whole mess of traffic, but there's no time to do anything with that as the clock hits triple zeros, and we take our 4th loss of the season in a heartbreaking fashion. We pull off the amazing comeback drive in the end of the game here. We were down 7-19 coming into the 4th quarter, and end up losing this one 22-25. So a solid comeback effort. I didn't think I had it in me as a player, or this team didn't really have it in it statistically, but we pull off a nice little comeback, but still fall short as our defense crumbles in the last 40 seconds of this ball game. So thanks to that final drive, Indiana's stats are looking a lot cleaner. We didn't run the ball at all. We just don't run, and that's a problem. We have to run at least a little bit to try and diversify this game, because now it's getting to the point where in the games I'm recording, our quarterback's throwing like 30 to 50 times a game, and that's just, you're not going to win football games that way. So if the only thing we can do is effectively pass, then we're going to have to try a different playbook or something, because that's not going to work out. But the stat line for a quarterback today actually seems okay, all things considered. He does have the 3 interceptions, but over 330 yards through the air today. He did eat 3 sacks, so as our running back gives us 0 production, just 6 yards on 3 attempts. Number 9 is the MVP with 7 receptions for 173 yards, but the only receiving touchdown goes to our tight end, number 7, who also had the 2-point conversion thrown his way, which gave us the lead here late in the game. So he definitely earned his helmet stickers, as did number 9, our receiver. So here's the defensive breakdown. No field goals attempted. Thankfully, we didn't miss any, though. We normally do. And what we're going to do now here, because this is our bye week, I noticed after I played the game. This is our bye week, so we're going to examine our stats here. And 9 touchdowns to 19 interceptions for a quarterback is crazy. I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure that's already the FBS record for interceptions in a season, so we're out here breaking records, some kind of records. Our running back only has 218 yards on the ground with 6 touchdowns. He's a touchdown goblin exclusively. That is it. Even our receiving breakdown, we have a lot of yards spread out. We have 3 receivers with over 400 yards, almost 2 with 500 yards so far this season, but not a whole lot of receiving touchdowns. So we're a team that doesn't score a lot of touchdowns, clearly. Our left guard is leading the charge by and far with those pancakes so far this season. Only 1 sack and 17 pancakes, so solid production actually from our offensive line, which I'm pretty surprised about. That's normally an area that kind of struggles, but we've done pretty well here. A lot of interceptions so far this season. Our free safety with over 100 interception yards. That's crazy, man. That's like a receiver almost. He's like a bad receiver almost through 6 or 7 games already so far this season. Over 100 yards just in interceptions. We've had a few pick sixes too. Our defensive production's been solid. We didn't really get anything there in that Indiana game, which would have been beneficial. But then our kicker, you see, is 1 for 6. Solid 16 percentage. Just terrible. But here are the stats, how we rank up in all of FBS. Some of these stats are kind of, you got to take them with a grain of salt, just the way our games go, the short quarters that we play and stuff. But there's some that you should take into account, like red zone percentage for sure. You know, I think our passing yards, you can kind of put some stock in because we pass pretty effectively. Sacks as well, and interceptions, all that stuff. Our turnover numbers, like those are all pretty accurate numbers. Same with our third down percentage, because, man, 117th is right. We are awful on third down. We are just terrible. I don't know how to fix that, other than just call better plays, I guess. But, yeah, we are terrible on third down, and we got to be a lot better with that. So, yeah, so interceptions, we are 115th out of 117 with interceptions. So there are somehow 2 teams in FBS that have thrown more picks than we have. I find that crazy. Here are our bowl rankings. And the rankings in these games are kind of weird because just the way that they kind of operate. We'll see when we look at the regular rankings, but there's some teams that just don't deserve to be where they're at, but they are. I just don't know how the polls just do it. I don't know how they work in this game, how they programmed them to work, because Minnesota was undefeated, but they were like 24, like they were barely in it, so... But here are our rankings. You have Ohio State at first, Oklahoma second, Kansas State, Florida State, USC. I mean, pretty typical stuff here. Texas A&M has slipped up to 6 here. Miami typically sits at number 1 throughout all these seasons, but they must have lost at some point here in the season. A lot of SEC popping up in the rankings here. Is Texas sitting at 14. We have Pitt also in the rankings, which is interesting. Michigan from our own conference is here at 17. We have Minnesota still sitting ranked following our loss to us, and they also lost to Illinois. So, but they're still having a good year. And then Notre Dame at 3 and 4. I think I needed to sim a little bit for those to update, but Notre Dame sitting in at 3 and 4 is wild at 25. Here's a look at our conference standings. We're sitting at 7 right now. Our conference record's pretty bad, but both Purdue and Wisconsin are our next games, and they're sitting below us. So, pending our results here in our next game here with Wisconsin, we could try and fix our season a little bit here, but the bowl chances are getting slimmer and slimmer as we take another loss, another tough, close loss here to the Hoosiers on the road. We get to come home to Evanston and welcome the Wisconsin Badgers, who definitely statistically are the better team, but they are on a tough streak here. They've lost 3 straight games. We can hopefully make it 4 and get into the win column ourselves. So, hope to see you back in Evanston, Illinois when we take on the Wisconsin Badgers.